Your Excellency, I now invite the Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, who will now address us.
His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General, Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Horace Chang, and members of the Cabinet, newly appointed Ministers of State and Parliamentary Secretary, the Honorable Audrey Sewell, Cabinet Secretary and Head of the Public Service, and other government officials present, Pastor Dr. Merrick Walker, President, East Jamaica Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, family members and support teams of the newly appointed officials of government, other special guests, representatives of the media, my fellow Jamaicans, home and abroad, good afternoon. Today marks another important moment in the life of our government and our democracy, when we witness the swearing in of Ministers of State and Parliamentary Secretary who will support the Cabinet of Jamaica. This ceremony is a public affirmation of trust, responsibility, but most important, continuity. But it is also a clear statement of renewal. Our government was returned to office with a clear mandate to accelerate the transformation of Jamaica. The people voted for performance over promise. And this meant continuation, because continuity is the scaffolding upon which progress is built. When we formed the new cabinet earlier this week, I heard voices saying, "Where are the fresh faces? Where is the renewal?" I want to say plainly, renewal is not an event. It is a process. Renewal is not about discarding experience. It is about harnessing and transforming yesterday's lessons into tomorrow's strength. It is about distilling the wisdom that would have been gained over years, even decades, and using it to light the path for new journeymen to embark. It is about being able to use the knowledge to identify the pitfalls and to accelerate our progress. It is not about replacing one generation with another overnight, but it is about forging a living bridge between the wisdom of experience and the dynamism of youth. Your colleagues in cabinet have accepted to continue, not because they seek personal accolades, but because they are committed to ensuring an orderly transition. They know, as I know, that Jamaica cannot afford disruption or drift. The major reforms we have undertaken in our economy, our education system, our national security, our housing and urban development programs are all at critical stages. These are reforms that cannot survive political whims or administrative chaos. They need stability and continuity to reach fruition. And yet, these very stalwarts are also among the first to say it is time to prepare the next generation. Some have already indicated their intention to retire from representational politics during or at the end of this term. For good measure. Some, and very shortly, all will indicate their intention. They have committed themselves to using the years ahead not to accumulate titles, but to transfer their hard-won experience, their institutional knowledge, and their discipline to the younger leaders who will come after them. This is the essence of succession, to secure the gains of today by preparing the leadership of tomorrow. And this is where you, as newly appointed ministers of state and parliamentary secretary, enter the story. You have been chosen not by chance, not as token of youth, not as ornaments to your cabinet stalwarts. You have been chosen because you have demonstrated competence, commitment, and capacity. You represent the reservoir of talent that exists in our parliamentary ranks, in our party, and across the Jamaican society. Your appointment is both a recognition of your potential and an investment in Jamaica's future. The ministers with whom you will work have significant experience. And your task is to learn from them, to walk across the bridge of experience and to use the light of wisdom to avoid the pitfalls and accelerate the pace of progress for the people of Jamaica. Observe how they lead, how they think, how they navigate complexity. Ask questions, seek counsel, earn their trust, and while you learn, my script says, do not be passive. Yes, do not be passive, but do not be overly aggressive either. Bring your own energy, your ideas, your grasp of new technologies, and your connection to the aspiration of the younger generation of Jamaicans. Renewal does not mean tearing down the old to build the new. It means grafting new vitality onto strong roots. Ministers of state may sound like a subordinate role, but in practice it is a vital one. The government's agenda is vast, and oftentimes a minister alone is not able to execute it. Your work will often be behind the scenes, chairing groups, pushing projects across the finishing line, meeting with stakeholders, resolving bottlenecks, and the public may not always see you on the nightly news. But they must be able to see your impact, your value in the improved performance of the government. Your success will depend on your diligence, your discipline, and your discretion. I can't overemphasize this word, discretion. Learn the machinery of government, its laws, regulations, financial systems, and oversight framework. And I pause here at oversight framework. Not because you have now been appointed as ministers means that you will not have parliamentary duties. Indeed, in this peculiar formation of the parliamentary majority, ministers of state must participate even more intensely in parliamentary committee affairs and other activities of the parliament. But as you learn government, we expect that you will not only gain a deeper understanding of the rules and policies and laws, but we don't want you to use them as obstacles. They are guardrails, yes, but I don't want you to turn them into hurdles. I want you to become problem solvers and not trapped in red tape. I want you to become the spark and not become part of inertia, bureaucratic inertia. Where there is fragmentation, I want you to be the link that pulls the stakeholders and the agencies together. And where there is delay, be the hand that drives execution forward. Never forget that you are custodians of public trust. The authority you exercise, it's not yours. It's not yours innately. It is exercised on behalf of the public. It belongs to the public. And you have the privilege of exercising it on behalf of the public. Every decision you make, every document you sign, every program you launch must be guided by the highest standard of integrity. Do not be seduced by the trappings of office. And that is written there deliberately, not just for the ministers of state newly appointed, but for the entire executive. Sometimes we get seduced by titles and vehicles, and by now those things, the novelty of those things should have worn off. And the focus should really be on the achievements, what we can achieve for the people. Reputation is what endures. So guard yours fiercely, because it is the foundation upon which your leadership will be built. As you begin this journey, I want to charge you with 3 imperatives. First, be students of your ministries. As I've said before, learn government. But also be students of your country. Do not confine your perspective to the narrow borders of your portfolio. Understand how your work contributes to the larger mission of building a safe, prosperous, and just Jamaica. Study our history, our economy, our culture, and our constitution. Know where we have come from so you can chart a better course to get where we want to be. Second, be close to your people. Let me say that another way. Stay close to your constituency. Never lose touch with the realities of those you serve. Walk the streets. Don't stop too long at the bars. Listen. Listen to the concerns of the people. Understand their struggles and their hopes. Policy is not an academic exercise. I mean, Excellency, I have your permission to digress a bit. Sometimes when I read the commentaries and the articles and the the public commentaries in the paper, I wonder if what is written in editorials and articles would be the same if they had the experience on this side. What sounds theoretically attractive may not make sense when it is practically applied. To be clear and to be very quick in my caveat, it is still necessary to engage in the theoretical, philosophical, and academic review of what we do. But that must be also balanced by practical considerations. So, when you sit in office and review reports, remember that behind every statistic is a human story. So let compassion and empathy be your compass. And this is, of course, not just for the ministers of state. It is especially the case for the ministers of cabinet. Compassion and empathy. And indeed, passion as well. Let those be your compass. Third, be builders of unity. Politics thrives on competition, and I know this. The public looks on and they may feel, we move along quite stably and not with much disruption. But competition is high. As all of you who are sitting here would know, the competition is high. And that's good. It's good for the government. Right? There is not likely to be any inertia politically. But governance thrives best on collaboration. The challenge is that competition usually ends up being a selfish pursuit. And that diminishes the collective effort. So, you will work with senior civil servants, technocrats, local government officials, private sector stakeholders, and civil society advocates. Treat them with respect. Build bridges, not walls. Do not see dissent as an attack. There is no obligation for anyone to agree with you, even if you're right. But see it as an opportunity to refine your ideas. Go back and refine your arguments and come again. Jamaica's challenges are too great for us to be divided by ego and partisanship. Our government is strongest when your egos bow to purpose. When we set aside self, what I would want, what suits me, what is best for me, and work together. I believe it was Aristotle who said the sum of the parts are greater than the whole. It is a mystery to others, to many, as to why the sum of the parts, when put together, would be greater than the whole. And of course, there is this thing called synergy. It's the dividend that you get from working together in unity for the greater good. At the end of the day, it's not about you. It is about the people. And I emphasize that. So, the truth is that the baton of leadership is already in your hands. You can carry it for only a stretch of the race, or you can decide to participate and hand it over at some other point in time. But the day will come when you are going to be running the last stretch of the race to the finish line. So we all have to be prepared to, hand over the baton at some point in time. And we all have to be prepared to receive the baton. Let us have no fumbles in the relay of governance. So that is why we are very deliberate about succession, and I've spent a lot of time speaking about succession and transition planning. I don't think any other prime minister has so openly spoken about this. But we are in a very unique period in our history. And we must be the intelligent organization that embraces it and treats with it with the sense of purpose, understanding, vision, and strategy that we have exercised so far in our previous 2 terms. Now, the task will not be easy, of course. Public life demands sacrifice. It will test your patience, your character, and at times even your spirit. But it is also the greatest honor to serve the people of Jamaica, to shape the destiny of this land we love. Do it with humility, do it with courage, do it with the consciousness that history is watching and that future generations will reap and benefit from what we sow now. So in closing, today you took the oath of office, joining a distinguished line of Jamaicans who have stepped forward to serve. Some were household names, others worked in quiet obscurity, but all contributed to the grand project of nation building. Now it's your turn. This government is not just about managing the present, it is about preparing the future. And you, our new ministers of state and parliamentary secretary, are that future in the making. I congratulate you, I welcome you, and I look forward to the impact you will make as together we continue to work towards building a stronger, more united, more prosperous, fairer, peaceful, more productive Jamaica land we love. May God bless you and God bless Jamaica.
Thank you very much, Dr. Holness. Ladies and gentlemen, let us congratulate our new state ministers and our parliamentary secretary with a round of applause. We have come to the end of this ceremony. I thank you for attending this ceremony on behalf of His Excellency the Governor General and for your continued support for the new state ministers and for the parliamentary secretary. I am going to invite the ushers to escort the state ministers and the parliamentary secretary to the grand staircase through these doors and for a photo opportunity with His Excellency and the Prime Minister. Thank you very much for attending today and have a wonderful day. Thank you.